This is Wife Material Podcast, episode 19. So, basic wife skills. This is an important podcast, right? Because most women want to know what are, the basic skills for being a wife. What do guys want from a wife? What makes a wife, right? That's the important thing, is understanding what's the purpose, right, of being a wife. What's the role? Because every type of title you can get in life, like if you think of a job, has a role, right? Has certain things certain things you have to do, right? If you're a security guard, for example, you gotta do security guard stuff, right? If you're a nurse, you gotta do nurse stuff. If you're a doctor, you gotta do doctor stuff, right? So, most women know what it means to be a woman, right? Obviously, right? Most women know what it means to be a girlfriend. Most women at least are good at that. At least they're good at being a girlfriend to a certain degree. They're not perfect at it, right? Most women tend to be really not perfect. They're not really that good, right? Because of the fact that they're good enough to be a girlfriend long enough to just be a girlfriend. They never upgrade, right? They never get promoted from girlfriend to fiance to wife, and then from wife to mother, and then mother to grandmother, and so forth, right? And that's part of the problem, is that most women don't go past the girlfriend phase, right? Since this is a podcast about becoming a wife, being a wife, or if you are a wife, obviously maintaining it, because on average, most marriages fall apart because the woman decides she doesn't want to be in the marriage no more. And just, many different factors, but most of the factors tend to be pretty basic. It's either has something to do with sex, or has something to do with money, right? And sex/love. I add love into that. Sex/love, right? Either, what I mean by sex is, maybe he cheated, right? So divorce happens because he cheated, right? Or, and then, right, in that scenario, or lack of sex. Whether it's you giving him lack of sex as a wife, is making you like, man, you deserve better than this. I don't want to, it's unfair for me to stay in a relationship, in a marriage, if I'm not going to keep providing you your needs, right? So that tends to be a factor sometimes. Sometimes it's divorce is meant to be a good thing, right? In a woman's mind, like, hey, I can't keep providing you the wifely duties. I should leave, and you should find someone else. But of course, how divorces tend to be a bad thing for guys. So a good intention of like, yeah, I get it that you don't want to, you don't want me to be in a sexless life, marriage. But the divorce is going to be a hell of a thing, right? So there's that, but then there's the love, like you don't love him no more, right? So then that's where lack of sex might come, will be a factor. You stop being intimate with him, and that will be a red flag eventually. And of course, like I said, since you stop loving him, you're more likely to cheat on him, or you just decide to end the relationship because you'd rather be with someone else, which pretty much is the same thing. Whether you have sex with a guy while you're in a marriage, or have sex with a guy after the marriage is over, pretty much the same thing, because the mindset was, oh, I don't want this no more, I want to move on. So either move on with another guy during the marriage, or move on with a guy after marriage over. Pretty much the same thing, because on average, when women cheat, right, they tend to, the marriage or the relationship, boyfriend or girlfriend or husband and wife scenarios, tend to end after that. A woman doesn't cheat and then stays with a man happily ever after. Women don't operate that way. Men can do that, but of course women don't like men cheating, right? That's that kind of scenario. So even though a man can cheat with multiple women and still be loyal to his wife, well, to her, that's not loyalty. Therefore, for her, it is a problem. Because when she cheats, or the way she looks at cheating, is lack of love. It's like, if you're having sex with other women, then you don't love me anymore. Might as well be with other women. That's women logic, right? So that's because a woman will, even though she already has a man, right? If she decides to have sex with another man, it's because she no longer cares for the man she's currently with. She's already moving on. So her having sex with another guy is her literally replacing the guy. It's different than when a guy does it, because when a guy has sex with another woman, he's not trying to replace the woman he's with. He just wants another woman, right? He's adding to his body count as opposed to replacing, right? As a word. No, I said it wrong. You get the point. It's like he's not trying to get rid of his wife for another woman. For all that, obviously you might as well just leave her, right? Break up with her if you're a boyfriend, girlfriend, or divorce her if you're okay with that, right? Scenario. And then be with another woman if you want to be with another woman or multiple. But here's the thing. If a guy wants to be with multiple women, he's better off being single, right? Logically. But this is not about that. This is about trying to make sure that the marriage is good, right? Basic life skills. So this intro was long. So some basic stuff. In the video, you obviously see these things, which is cooking, cleaning, budgeting, budgeting money, time management, and self-defense. And these are just some basic stuff. There's many other ones. You can obviously go on like Google, because ladies, remember, Google's your friend. You can learn stuff, and that's the most important thing, is learning, right? You need to learn to be, to be something, right? Being a wife is not that different from being a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. It's a job in its own right? So that's why we call it being a wife, right? And why a lot of people are pushing for wife. Now this is something that should be common sense back in the day, but in modern times, most people are just constantly being told that they need a job, right? So they can afford food, shelter, right? And whatever else and whatever else you need, right? Food, shelter, and whatever you want. Netflix subscription, going on trips, whatever, right? So currently in society, they try to promote the idea of independence, basically. Everybody, focus on themselves, ignore everyone else. And that's wrong. That's not how society works. That's not how communities work, and that's not how the human race survived for thousands of years. We survived for thousands of years because we worked together. We loved each other. We respected each other. We judged each other, right? We looked out for each other. That's the thing. It's like we're better united we stand, divided we fall. And the thing is, right now, with how society is, with companies and stuff like that, they're trying to divide us. So now we're currently in the gender war, right? Men versus women. That's unfortunate. And not a big deal who started the war, right? What matters is let's try to end it, right? And that's where being husband and wife, making babies that will be the future generation. And we want that future generation to be better. So we need to teach them better. So men and women need to get together, learn how to, coexist, learn how to work together as a team, husband and wife, right? Dynamic duo, and to, teach that to the next future generation. So that way the future generation can be, consisting of men and women. Because it can get, and I made a podcast episode, Wife 2.0, of the fact that it can get to a point where the human race can literally go down to one gender. Right now, we can talk about there's 31 different flavors of genders out there. There's more than 2 genders, but in reality, we can wither it down to one gender. Sad to say, ladies, that one gender will be male, will be men. If we go that dark route, it will be men will dominate. Men will take over. All women will be wiped out. We'll use technology to replace y'all for everything. Well, mainly for reproduction, because clearly we can do everything else. We created a lot of the stuff that most of y'all are using, right? Like smartphones and stuff like that. We already have stuff that can cook. We got stuff that can clean. Most guys already know how to cook and clean. We got stuff for budgeting money and stuff like that. We got ways to make money, passive income, regular income, time management, so on and so forth. Most of the, we're guys, right? We're big, we're strong. So we have the ability to defend ourselves from each other, defend ourselves from nature, right? So there's that path, like I said, but that's the dark path. I'm one of the people that don't want that path, obviously, right? I'm one of the guys that's rooting for you, ladies. I'd rather the human race continue to be in men and female, right? And in women. Let's not go the dark route of just one gender, because that could have happened a long, long time ago. We could have literally, guys in the past literally could have just wiped out women and all, but then the whole human race would have, dwindled down drastically. Or if they were logical, they would try to keep as many females alive. They could have gone the Amazon route, try to keep a few amount of women around just for reproduction, just to reproduce more men. And if they reproduce a woman, unless they needed another woman to replace the woman, they would just get rid of the female child and go that route. That's the dark way. that could have literally happened, but it didn't, right? But in the multiverse, it probably did happen in a certain multiverse. There's an Earth where it's just men and very few women. Like that could have been the case, but we're not in that Earth. We're on the Earth where, ironically, there's more women than men. Mathematically, right? So the women who want to be wives to these men, while the other ones want to be, strong, independent, hey, to each their own. But the ones who want to be man, then that's where we need to get to this point where, having, wife skills, because you need to be just as useful to him as he is to you. Because here's the thing, it's important to know what a man provides, right? What a man does for you, so you can understand what is it that you should be able to bring that he doesn't bring, right? Because the things that I say about what a guy does, a woman can be like, well, I do that too. So, for example, shelter, food, security, love, right? Resources, aka money, or money is one of the types of resources. And a woman can say, oh yeah, I got that too. I got a house, I got food, I got a car, I got a gun, right? For security, right? I can love you, right? I got money, right? So that's the thing. It's like, a woman can say, like, yeah, I got this, that, like, yeah, that's materialistic stuff, right? So yeah, you got a lot of materialistic stuff that, you have access to, obviously. So you get it. Obviously, you can say like, oh yeah, we got a lot of the same stuff, but men do many other things as well to provide other stuff. Logic being one of those things. But that's why it's like, okay, men already, will provide and should be providing, resources, money, having friends that like are lawyers or doctors or something like that. Those can be useful, resources. His network, the people he associates with, his family. Like his family can be a resource, of course, love, respect, right? These are, things you want. You want to, you want to be loved, right? You want him to care for you. Of course, love can also be sex, but it doesn't have to be anything. So then, of course, security, he can protect you not just from other people, but you can also protect you from nature, animals, or the environment itself, cold weather, hot weather, floods, that kind of stuff. He can protect you from nature. He can help you survive on this planet, even if you're not in a city, and let's say you end up on an island somewhere. Definitely going to be grateful that he's there, because he'll definitely have to be useful there. Food, of course, we all got to eat, shelter, got to have a roof and other stuff, cars, resources, and so on and so forth. So, a guy's going to do his best to provide pretty much a lot of the stuff that you need as a human being. This is why, we have modern women who are like, oh, I'm strong, independent, blah, 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 I don't need no man. It's like, yeah, because you're able to get a lot of the resources, right? A lot of the things the guy used to get for you, because he'll get it and he'll share it with you. So the stuff he used to get and share with you, now you can get it yourself. So now you see him as less useful because you can get the stuff yourself. Pretty much, it's literally taking out the middleman out of the equation, right? You're literally taking the man out the middle of the equation. Because it used to be, here's the resources, right? Jobs, money, this and that, cloud, network, that kind of stuff, right? And then after that would be the guy, and then after that would be the woman, right? And then after that would be the children. So the man will have to go get the resources, right? Go get the food and money and all that stuff, and get the stuff that he needs, as well as what you'll need as a woman, right? As a wife. And of course, you benefit from his efforts. So if he grabs a lot of, if he makes a lot of money, then you made a lot of money. If he, gets a new house, you got a new house, right? If he gets a new car, you got a new car. The list goes on and on. The idea is that he's always sharing with you, the spoils of his victories, as it were, right? So, that was the way women got their bag, was him getting the bag, and he would get 2 bags, one for him, one for his wife, right? And then when y'all have children, then he has to get extra bags for the children. That's what a man used to provide, traditional man. Most guys are still traditional. It's still like, yeah, I still gotta make a lot of money because I need to share it. I need to make a lot of money so that way I can take a woman on a date. I can do this and that, and I can afford this and that. Like, let's say something were to happen, my girlfriend or wife, right, gets hurt or something, and let's say her medical coverage doesn't cover it, so it will have to be covered through money. Now, let's say she can't afford it, or she can only afford half. All right, well then I'll provide the other half, right? As being her man, right? Playing my part. Like, I help you in this situation because I want to take care of you. I want you to be in good condition, right? I want you to be safe and healthy and all that good stuff, right? So that's my importance. But after a while, you have to understand that it's like men need to feel needed. Right? We need to feel useful. We don't ask for too much, right? We need to feel useful. So we need something. You need to give us something to do, even if that is you, right? We need something to do. So that's what makes men happy, is doing stuff for other people more so than ourselves. So men tend to be selfless. Women tend to be more selfish. I'm trying to throw shade, right? I'm just saying that women tend to be more of a receiver than a giver, and men tend to be givers more than receivers, right? I'm not saying the roles can't be opposite in certain situations. Just on average, women tend to be wanting things. Men tend to be needing things. So men, give away a lot. Give out more than they receive. A guy will take you out on a date and pay for it and provide you transportation, give you time. Let's say they were planning to spend an hour with you on the date, but then it ended up being 3 hours. So they put in overtime, right? So they spend 2 extra hours with you on the date and whatnot. And all these things he does for you. Let's say something happened that somebody disrespected you, he defended you. The list goes on and on and on of all the things a guy, does for you, and he doesn't expect too much in return. And I use this analogy: sex, sandwich, and size. Right? Pretty basic. Men are not complicated. We're very, very simple, and we like to simplify things. Women tend to be very complicated. They tend to complicate things. So, that's why men got to be good at making things simple. Taking a complicated situation and simplify it. I just had a situation with a female family member where they made a situation sound more complicated and worse than it really was, and I had a simple solution. I'm like, just come to me and get the key. You have a car. you know where I work because we work in the same place. Come to me, and I give you the key to get into the house. Problem solved, right? Simple. And I thought that this person was calling me for the purpose of asking for the key, to get in the house, to make things simple. But instead, it was a pretty lengthy conversation that was like, wait, this. Why did we, in my mind, I'm like, why did we waste this much time talking about keys and this and that third, and is the back door of the house open, unlocked instead, and all this extra stuff, and so much was said when it should have just been, hey, you have you have the extra key with you. Are you at work right now? I'm thinking of coming over, driving over to that car to pick up the key. Instead of having a solution, just wanted to keep talking about the problem and making the problem sound way more complicated than it really was. And I had the simple solution, which was come to me to have the key and take the key. It'd be faster and better, and then this solves the problem if you come to me and get the key. But oh well, like I said, it was a female relative, so that was the point I'm making. A female relative that made a simple situation more complicated than it had to be. Me being a simple man, let me put it that way, a simple man, I had said, let's just come get the key from me and problem solve. Let's make the problem solvable, right? Solutions, not problems. And that's what I like, to solve problems. Give me solutions. But I'm a problem solver, so I'm used to that. But that's what I bring to the table as a husband, right? Is I'm a problem solver. I'll take your complicated issues, whatever you think is hard to do, I'll find a way to make it easy to do. So now, if you are really good at solving problems, ladies, that's a plus. Definitely bring that to the table. If you're a problem solver, definitely add that to your list of skills and that you bring to the table, right? Along with the ability to cook. Cook is not necessarily creating things from scratch. I mean, for me, just even ordering food and making sure that by the time by the time I get home, there is food available, right? Like, especially if since I'm trying to be more healthy, right? Then I'm trying not to eat products, right? Stuff that's made by companies, chips and cookies and things fast food, right? Those are products. So I would prefer a woman who knows how to use natural ingredients, fruits and vegetables, right, and meats, and be able to make something edible out of those things. That's why cooking is an important, useful skill, because you're creating your own meals, right? You're creating something that your own substance. Yes, sustenance. You're not relying on a company to care about your health and your well-being. So to me, cooking is an important skill to have, which is why I learned how to cook myself. Yes, I asked my mother to teach me, right? As well as I, watch cooking shows with my brothers and YouTube videos and stuff. So I learned to cook because it's like I realized that I don't want to rely on fast food and potato chips and stuff like that. I see what it does to my body. Not a fan of that. As well as when I read the ingredients and stuff like that, there's words in there like, this is potato chips, but for some reason it has some fancy chemical words in here. It's like, that doesn't sound like food. Potato chips should just be potatoes. That should be the only ingredient. Why is there other stuff in here, right? So with that being said, that's why it's important to be able to cook. I say cook, period. Men and women both should learn how to cook because it's a useful skill. But definitely, ladies, if you want to be a wife, definitely should learn how to cook. You don't need to be able to cook. I mean, you don't need to cook per se, as in not mandatorily, right? You have to cook, but it'd be good that you know how to. Then there's cleaning, right? Because I'm gonna say it this way: if a woman has a problem with cleaning, then that means she likes to be dirty. I have a problem with that. And then remember, sanitation is important. If we have kids and stuff like that, the house should be clean. It shouldn't be dirty because germs and the kids will get sick. And God forbid the kids die just because the house ain't clean, right? So it's important, that the house is clean. Right? It's important that we are clean. I gotta make sure I'm clean. You gotta make sure you're clean. So that's why it's like cleaning is something we need to do, because this is literally what helps us survive longer. So cleaning is something that should be do. This should be done. It's like, if you don't like to clean every day, I don't expect you to clean every day. But it would be nice if you clean every other day, once a week at least. If Saturday's the day you want to clean the house, hey, fine. I'm not against it. If you want me to help, like, also not against it. Especially if it's a weekend, it's more like my day off. I got no problem, spending time with you, cleaning and whatnot. Not a problem. It's just, let's make sure that that's something that's something we can use. Make sure you have cooking and cleaning skills. Budgeting. I would prefer a woman that doesn't want to, waste all my money, right? And I would like a woman that's not wasteful of money. That's the best way to put it. I don't want a woman that's wasteful of money. A woman that just wants to spend money like crazy. Shit, if I'm gonna be, if I'm making a lot of money and I want to be wasteful with it, that's one thing, right? But of course, I'm not gonna do that. I'll do my best to, obviously be less wasteful with money. But at the same time, it's like, I don't care much for money. It's what I could do with money that matters to me. So there's that. But a woman that's good at budgeting, because if I give you a certain amount of money to do certain things with it, I would like you to be good at being able to, make the money work. I shouldn't have to be in a scenario where, like, I give you like $10,000, for example, to go do some stuff, and then you're like, oh man, but it's gonna cost like $30,000 or something. Like, then you need to find a way to make it where you can do $30,000 worth of stuff for only $10,000. That's the idea of budgeting. Find a way to stretch those bills, right? Find a way to make the money to make $10,000 worth, or $10, or $20, or $1,000 worth. Find a way to make it work. That's what I'm looking for. That right there shows you're good at solving problems, right? That shows your education, your intelligence, right? That's important, right? Nobody really wants a dumb person, right, to be in this position, because a dumb person doesn't provide you much of it. So by default, men want smart women, right? There's women out here who think men don't want smart women, but it's like, that's false. It's a lie. We want smart women, but we don't want this smart-ass women. We don't want women who will try to get smart with us, right? We don't want women who will treat us like we're dumb, right? That's the difference. We like smart women. We like women who can solve problems. So whenever there's a problem, hopefully they can solve it themselves, so they don't have to rely on me to solve it for them. Men, we naturally want to solve every problem that comes our way. So if you're talking to us and telling us a problem, by our nature, we want to fix it. But the irony is, most women rather complain about a problem than to actually have to solve. So when a guy tries to solve it, ironically, she turns that into a problem. Like, you're always trying to solve everything. You're always trying to fix everything. Everything can't be fixed. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh my God. Silence. Remember? Sex, sandwich silence? Give me the silence right now. Stop complaining to me that you're complaining to me about complaining to me about a problem that you brought to me. And then now you're complaining that I want to solve it, or that I have a solution. Like, go on. Even if you're not logical, ladies, pretend that you are, right? At least pretend that you're logical, that you can understand that it's like, if you don't want the problem to be solved, don't waste my time with the problem. Or at least right off the bat, tell me that, you have a problem, but you don't want a solution. Tell me that. That's what I want. Let's have that as part of the conversation. Tell me you don't want me to solve it. That way I understand that I'm going to be spending time listening to a problem that you don't want me to solve. Right? It's going to be annoying. I'm going to be upfront with it. It's going to be annoying. I'd rather not hear the problem. But since you gave me the warning that you don't want a solution to the problem, at least I'm prepared for it. And that's all I ask. Give me the benefit of the doubt, right? Give me a warning is all I'm saying. Right? Let me know what's about to happen. Same thing as when it comes to many other things. You want sexy time, ladies. Let me know that you want sexy time. Stop trying to play mind games, right? Stop trying to see if I can guess that you want sexy time. No, you want sex? Tell me. Don't try to get me to play mind games. Try to read your mind and stuff. So like I said, cooking, cleaning, budgeting, right now time management, right? That's important. The ability to manage time. That's very important. Time management, because you only get but so much time in a day. And there's some women that want to work, like they want to still have a career or a job, right? They still want to be a wife, right? They want to be able to have both. And it's like, okay, that's going to be hard. The easiest, the only way that works out the best, right? The most optimal way of doing that, being a housewife and be a career woman, is that literally you can be in two places at once, right? If you literally can split time itself and make it where every minute you're both being a career woman and being a wife, right? So that'd be hard to do. But that's why I always liked the idea, and then initially had the thought of back in the day, way before, like work from home was a common thing, like how it is now. Was the idea that like it'd be awesome in the near future that we get to the point which now we are in that future that I was speaking of when I was young, that women can work from home, because that would be an option. Right? There'll be an option that women can work from home. And I was inspired by the whole Avon lady thing, that the women with these brochures and stuff trying to sell Avon, and I was like, that's pretty cool that these ladies who, are stay-at-home moms, housewives, are able to make a little bit of income by, selling Avon to the neighbors and stuff. Like, that's pretty cool. She essentially has a job. They work from home, right? So that's where I came with the idea, like working from home. Now we call it work from home, right? So the point is like, oh, that's so cool. It's like, it'd be nice if that could be done with a lot of jobs. Imagine, I'd be thinking like, well, secretary work. That a lot of times that's just you picking up a phone and answering a phone, right? And writing down notes and stuff like that, and letting the boss know he has a meeting, this and that. It's like, it seems pretty big, simple, right? Like, most of that is just paperwork and a phone. A woman can be at home doing the paperwork, taking notes and stuff like that, doing what is it called? The agenda books, the schedule, like scheduling, can schedule stuff, right? And answer the phone from home. Why get dressed up and go to an office and be sitting at a table in front of the boss's office, answering phone calls and stuff like that. It makes sense to a certain degree if you need to be there for when somebody physically walks up and needs to interact or do an appointment or something. Basically, reception work was like, but for all that, see, receptionists do need to physically be there, but a secretary technically don't, because a secretary handles a lot of the logistics. Like I said, paperwork, phone calls, this and that. It's like that could be outsourced, aka work from home. So it's like, why wasn't that a thing, right? Now it is, but at that time, like, it's not a thing. So far, so there was a whole lot of this. It's like, companies should definitely try to consider, creating jobs that can be done from home, so that way wives can make income, not just the husband, but also maybe even create a scenario where the husband can work from home, so he can be home with his wife. Because I always liked the idea. That was also the inspiration. It wasn't just for women to make money from home. It just, that was where it started. Was like, oh yeah, women, being able to make money from home would be nice, because this is a way they can bring in income. Because the husband already is working, he's already making money, so I don't have to worry about guys making money. They already are. But what about women? Women should be able to make money too. Because a lot of times women will have free time. They'll finish all the housework, cook, clean, all that stuff, and then they'll spend most of their time watching TV. It's like, it'd be nice if women can have something else to do other than shopping. And this is, remember, I'm traditional, I'm old school, so I'm old, so this is the stuff I'm used to from the past. Now it's different, like women working, this and that, Uber Eats, all that stuff. So things are different. So that was the point. It's like, it would be nice that, women can also have careers, right? Be able to make money from painting. If you're a painter, paint from home and sell your artwork and stuff like that, make money that way. Again, it was just a way that women can do things, because, women can do stuff just like men can do stuff, right? So I want women's wives, gotta be very specific. I wanted wives to be able to live their life, right? To be able to have income. That's why the whole like, oh, strong, independent, you don't need no man thing is a problem. It's like, no, that's not what I want. I don't want women to leave the house, right? To leave, marriages, to go to, to make money and that's it. Eat, sleep, make money. Eat, sleep, make money, and then die alone. It's like, no. Eat, right? Be a wife and still have a career. Be a wife and have an income. The whole point is like just a way of making money, because realistically, you don't like. I want you to have stuff to do. So if you're good at painting, drawing, you're an artist. All that stuff can be done from home. The point is that all the things that you want to do, a lot of it can be done from home, which is why I wanted you to be able to do it from home. I don't want you to just cook and clean and watch TV until the husband gets home, right? I want you to be able to do other things. So if you have hobbies and passions and stuff you like, yeah, do it and monetize it and make some money, right? Nothing wrong with that. So I encourage that. But at the same time, ultimately, I was like, but I also would like it that if the husband can also stay home, right? So he can be a house husband. You can say, why does he have to leave the house all the time? He spends less time with his kids because he's always working. He spends less time with his wife because he's always working. Back in the day, marriages tend to end more because the husband works so much. He spends so little time with the wife. She feels neglected. She feels less love, blah, blah, blah. Other issues could be a factor. But typically it was like, she feels that he's married to the job more than him. So then she leaves him. It's like, oh, man, that's a hell of a contradiction. He's working to provide for you. And that's unfortunate. It's like, oh, you barely spend time with the kids. You're always working overtime. So you never went to our son's, baseball game and blah, blah, blah. It's like, and that's the kind of stuff I saw. It's like, damn, it has to be a way to solve this. It's like, it is unfortunate that the man goes to work to make this money to provide for his family, but he doesn't get to appreciate, enjoy being with his family because he's working. So the work is the problem, not the man, right? Not the family. It's the work. It's the work that's separating the man from the family. So it's like, okay, so we need to find a way to fix the work problem. It's like, we need to make money, but we need to also still have a family. Right? You still need to do stuff. So that's why it's like I was trying to bring husbands back into the house that doesn't work. So I also want men to also be home with their wives, with their children, right? But it's the irony that women, modern women, want to leave the home. They don't even want to make a home in the first place. They want to leave the home, right? They just like, nah, I'll be fine, a studio apartment, eat, sleep, work, eat, sleep, work, eat, sleep, work until I die. It's like, no, that's not what humans are supposed to be doing. And that's a terrible life. You think it's a great life just because you enjoy it, you think it's good. You do know crack is good, right? Crack is amazing. It makes you feel amazing. But we all know it's bad for you. Soda tastes great, but it's bad for you. Even drinking Clorox bleach for the first couple seconds. I don't know for personal experience because I haven't done it. I'm not that stupid. But the point is, I can assume that the first couple seconds of sipping on Clorox bleach, it tastes amazing until it doesn't. Then it's burning your lungs and stuff from what I hear. Like, think about how stupid that is. Just because something seems good, feels good, and whatnot doesn't always mean it is good, right? That's the point I'm trying to get at, is the fact that it's like just because you're used to eat, sleep, work, doesn't mean that's what your life's supposed to be about, right? So you might want more. So that's where the family and being a husband and wife, comes in, right? Plus, the other thing is husband and wife. That is very, very important for the human race. Too many people are becoming selfish. Too many people are more concerned about making themselves happy and doing things that benefit their life, right? Their small world, right? Their life, and ignoring the rest of the world. Not realizing this, like, we're all on this planet together, right? And there'll be a time where humans are not going to be on this planet if we don't keep repopulating. We keep hearing that hundreds of thousands of people are dying every year. That's crazy that people are dying a lot every year. Yes, we have a lot of people currently on Earth, but lots of people are dying. And we need to replace them at some point, because if not, all people will be dead, and then there is no human race, and then what was the point, right? What was the point of society and all this technology, all these advancements, trying to go to Mars and all stuff? What's the whole point of that if we're just going to let the human race die just because men and women don't want to be together, don't want to have kids and stuff like that? It's like, what? And then the funny thing is these same people complain about society, right? Complain about the world, like, the world is shitty, blah, 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 blah. Screw being in a relationship with a man or a woman, blah, blah, blah. I'll just keep to myself, blah, blah, blah. Not realizing that you're part of the problem. You're complaining that there's problems, but you're also part of it, because you're not part of the solution. Part of the solution is you get yourself with a man or a woman and create better human beings. Literally, we humans that currently exist right now have the literal capabilities of creating better human beings. But you got people out here being selfish, more concerned about their career or their bills and stuff like that. Their Netflix subscription, all this other stuff, all this selfishness. From my experience, and I'm going to be 40 this year. From my experience in life, selfishness is one of the worst sin on this planet. It's the true evil of the human race, the selfishness. It's what's going to cause us to be doomed. It's the reason why wars happen, right? Largely because of selfishness. One person thinking they're right versus somebody else, right? Selfishness. I'm right, you're wrong. What I believe is more important than what you believe. Selfishness, right? I want this, so I'm going to steal it from you, and so on and so forth, right? Like selfishness. And we need to make sure that selfishness is reduced drastically. So let's stop being selfish. Let's start being selfless. And that's where being a wife comes into play. Being a husband comes into play. Because a husband will provide shelter, food, security, love, resources, aka money, cars, and blah, 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 right? Will give stuff to his wife, will do stuff for his wife, and in return, the wife's supposed to also do stuff for her husband, right? It's good to be selfless, not selfish. Selfish is bad. Selfish is a poison in the human race. Selfless is great for the human race. Selfless is what a lot of people like. I see like videos on TikTok and stuff like that of like somebody does something good for somebody else. Like, oh, you're homeless, let me give you $1,000 and help you, get a job or something, make your life better. And people are like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Yes, that's awesome. Yeah. And then, it's like, well, duh, that's amazing. That's awesome, right? Because a person was not being selfish. Somebody was being selfless. So yes, selflessness is awesome. Let's keep promoting that idea. Let's stop promoting this whole selfishness, this whole independence. No, let's depend on each other. I depend on you, you depend on me. That's the best way things work. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. That's the point. Teamwork makes the dream work. No one ever heard of that? Right? There's of course, self-defense. So the next thing is self-defense. I got a little off topic. Obviously, time management is important. Gotta stay. Gotta make sure you can do the most with less time, which is why I was talking about the whole working from home and all that stuff. Because the fact that allows you to be home and do home-related stuff, but also be able to have your career, right? Be able to do stuff. So I support women working from home, because I'm not saying a woman can't have a career. I'm not saying a woman should never make her own money, right? I support it. I'm all about girl power, not feminism, specifically not the Nazism or the bad feminism, right? I'm definitely for girl power. So I definitely am like, yeah, you have the mental capabilities of making money, woman, then do it. Right? You have the talent, make money. Right? You have the ability to solve problems, go for it. I'm all for it. I'm all for that. Right? But I still want all the stuff that, women can also do, which is be a wife, be sexy, right? Then we get into this, right? So time management, being able to do a lot of stuff, be able to make time, be able to do things in a short period of time, so that way you have extra time for extra activities like sexy time, right? Then self-defense. Yes, a man should provide you, security, right? He should protect you from, the world and nature, right? Environments. But you should also be able to defend yourself. I prefer a actual strong woman, a woman who can defend herself. And I advocate for the idea of my wife has to be able to defend herself, even for me if need be. God forbid I'm ever in a situation where I raise my hand at my wife, which should never be the case. But if I were to, she should be able to defend herself. So I definitely support the ability to defend yourself. Not just for that, because like I said, that's not likely to happen. I'm not that type of person. But I would rather it's better to have and not need. So I rather she has the ability to defend herself against me and never need to use it, if that, logically, right? But definitely want her to be able to defend herself, because I'm not always guaranteed to be there. I could be at the supermarket, doing grocery shopping or something, right? Or doing something. Or I could just be taking a shower and then an intruder comes into the house, right? She needs to be able to defend herself, because I'm currently incapable of being able to do anything. Or the distance, there's factors of why I can't defend her, so she should be able to defend herself. Just logical. Here's the thing. I know how to defend myself, right? I'm ex-military and got martial arts training, so I can defend myself. And I'm a big guy. So, I got that. So self-defense is not a problem for me. So that's why it's important that I want my wife, to also have self-defense capabilities, for survival. Self-defense is just survival. It's like, worst case scenario, somebody tries to hurt you, you're able to defend yourself. That's why self-defense is not, that's why I say self-defense, not fighting. I don't want a woman that likes to fight and argue, because then that would create a problem where she's constantly swinging at me because I left the toilet seat up or something. I definitely don't want that. And she could be, and if she's violent, and she's abusive, right? So don't want those factors. I want her self-defense to protect herself. That's why I say self-defense specifically, and not just, I need a woman who knows how to fight. No, I need a woman who knows how to avoid fights. A woman who can block attacks. A woman who can get her, who is tough enough that, she did take a couple of hits in a situation other than me, right? Obviously, and she can take it. Definitely don't want to see a scenario where my wife gets hit by somebody, whether it be a female or male or an animal or whatever, and then she starts crying, and then shit happens. I go beast mode. It's better that she can defend herself. And then the most important thing is not only being able to defend herself, but the usefulness of she could potentially defend me if I'm in a situation where I'm outnumbered, I'm in a bad situation. I mean, God forbid, I got shot, stabbed in a fight, and I'm slowly losing the ability to defend myself. It would be nice to have backup, right? So self-defense, her ability to be able to defend would be beneficial. This is definitely a requirement for me. Is like she needs to be able to defend herself. Whether I teach her self-defense or she brings it, I would prefer she brings it because it simplifies it. I will still train a woman that, my wife, if she already has, martial arts training, I will still train her regardless. And it never hurts to learn more, right? More stuff. But at the same time, it's the fact that will simplify things, because by default, I'm going to train her. But it would be nice that she already came with her own training, so that way I'm just adding to her training, giving her more advanced training as opposed to literally starting from scratch. And then there's the fact that she can defend the children, because again, what if I'm not around, or what if I am around and I just need backup? She'll be able to back me up in protecting the children. That'd be, very helpful, logical. Again, these are very important skills in life in general, and these are the types of skills that will be very useful to bring to a relationship, right? because guys brings a lot. If I bring security to a relationship, it'd be nice if a woman can do it too. If I bring money to a relationship, it would be nice if a woman brings it too, right? You know. Again, I'm not saying that these are things that I definitely need a woman to bring. I don't need a woman to bring money into the relationship, but I'm not against it if she does. That's what I want to make clear. I'm not against her, being able to make money. I just don't require it. That's the difference. But not requiring does not mean I won't appreciate, right? Just like I have a preference. I prefer Asian women, but doesn't mean I couldn't like a woman that's not Asian, right? To each their own, right? The point is that just because I have a preference does not mean I can't be flexible, right? I'm all about compromising. I'm all about making everything a win-win situation. I'm about both sides winning as opposed to just me winning, everybody losing, or vice versa, right? I'm all about win-win situations. So that's the kind of stuff I take into account in considerations. So, of course, this goes without saying, sexy time. Right? That's a useful wife skill to have. The ability to be able to satisfy me in ways that satisfies me specifically. And, obviously I can return the favor, obviously. Back up, I take care of you take care of me type of stuff. The understanding, because it's very important to put these details most women don't know, but you got to understand that I don't choose to have sex, right? Per se. No, I said it wrong. I don't choose to be horny. Horniness just happens. I don't choose that. That's just a reaction. It's just something that happens because of whatever. If the outfit you're wearing turns me on, then the outfit you're wearing turns me on. That's a good thing, right? Noticing what turns your man on is an important skill to have. Because sometimes a woman will literally dress a certain way and then think that it's not a problem. Like, oh no, this shouldn't make you feel some type of way. It's like, but it does though. That's the point. It does. The way you dress does affect me. Let's not act like it don't. That's the point. It does affect me. If I like a nice little cute red dress and you're wearing a nice cute little red dress, do not be surprised that it has an effect on me. But that's the point. It has an effect on me. Let's say I get turned on by red lipstick, and I get turned on by red lipstick, and you deliberately put on red lipstick. What you think is going to happen? You think I'm going to be like, yeah, I don't get turned on by that? No. If that triggers me, right, that turns me on, then that turns me on. That's why it's important to know what triggers your man, right? Triggers your husband. Like what gets him happy, right? So that's an important skill, which is essentially observational skill. In the military, we call it observational awareness, right? So I definitely would need a woman to be situationally aware, to be able to pay attention to certain things like that. For example, if she dresses a certain type of way, let's say she dresses a certain type of way, but it doesn't affect me per se. Like I don't react to it. Like I'm like, that outfit's nice, and so I don't react to it, right? But when we're out in public, you're wearing it, and you're getting a lot of reactions from other guys, then you can understand. Okay, I might not be, affected by what you're wearing, so that's why you feel, like it's not a problem for what you're wearing is not a problem per se, as in it doesn't trigger a response. Since it didn't trigger my response to it, you think, oh, this is something I can wear, like it's neutral, like I could wear it and it wouldn't be a problem. No guy will get triggered, turned on by this outfit. But then if you look around, you see it actually does. And if that's the case, you might want to, correct that, right? You might not want to be with me out in public. I'm using myself as an example. Out in public, having all these guys look at you while I'm right there with you. Now, if you want the attention, well, where that how that looks. But obviously, situational awareness is important to know that, because even I know that I have to make sure that especially if I'm with a girl, like if I have a girlfriend or wife, I know that things that I normally do, or the way I dress, the way I act, tends to, get female attention. I know I have to tone it down when I'm in a relationship, because the only one that should be, giving me attention, looking at me and this, that, there, should be my significant other. It shouldn't just be every woman, right? So if I have to tone down I'll say it this way, if I have to tone down my sexiness, she has to tone down her sexiness, right? And make it where the sexiness is only for each other, right? So that's important. So like I said, that's definitely one of the many different skills you need to bring. The ability to be sexy, the ability to perform in the bedroom, but also be able to, moderate your sexiness. So that way it's mainly for your husband, right? Mainly for the love of your life. That's the way it should be, right? My sexiness should be for you. Your sexiness should be for me. We shouldn't be going around, sharing it with the world left and right. So that's why it's important, ladies, that the importance, because you're so used to being getting a lot of attention from guys, being attractive to guys throughout your life. So to you, it's normal. It's the same as breathing air. But you got to understand that once you're in a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, or marriage, that you need to tone it down. You do need to be modest, moderate. To understand this, this can be a problem. And remember, this podcast is about being a wife, which means you want to be a wife, you want to stay a wife, you want to keep your man happy. So obviously, stuff like this, dressing like this, doing things that makes him happy, is the right thing to do. As well as you gotta make sure that it's stuff that makes him happy. Make sure that he's the one that's getting the happiness from it, not the rest of the world, right? I use this old expression: "Lady in the streets, freak in the bed," right? Lady in the streets, freak in the sheets. So that expression exists for a reason. You all have to understand that your appearance, does matter. Again, it's like how your body looks. If like for example, if you take a shower and you dress nice, obviously you look clean, right? Looking clean is important. When people look at you, and you look clean, they think you're clean, right? When somebody looks at you and you look dirty, they think you're dirty, and the list goes on. If somebody looks at you and you look like a cop, they'll think you're a cop. If you look like a doctor, they'll think you're a doctor, and the list goes on. So if you look inappropriate, then you're being inappropriate. It is weird in society right now, the idea that a woman will be dressed inappropriately. Somebody will point out that she's dressed inappropriately, and then she'll complain that it's not inappropriate. Y'all making it inappropriate. No, you're the one making it inappropriate. That's why it was brought to your attention that you're being inappropriate. It's childish to try to turn it around and be like, no, you're making it inappropriate. You're the one that's sexualizing me. No, you're the one who is dressed in a sexual way, in a way that people who look at you, men, for example, will look at you and see you in a sexual light because you shine that sexual light on yourself. You dress sexy. Shouldn't be surprised that that's the train of thought people have when they see you. Oh, she looks sexy. And again, something important to understand is that in society, us speaking to women, you as the individual woman, you do not decide what is and isn't sexy when it comes to you. Men do. When it comes to what you consider sexy in a man, that is up to you. You decide if a man is sexy or not to you. But you don't decide if you are sexy or not to a man. That is such a weird thing that I've been seeing lately. Women thinking that they have to decide when they are sexy or not. It's like, no. Men decide if you're sexy or not. You decide if men are sexy or not. That's how that works. Because then for all that, every guy who's broke, who has no money, right? Not that they don't have money, it's just that whenever they have money, they spend it on dumb stuff, right? So they always don't have cash on hand, as it were, they can say that you judging them for being broke is wrong. Like, no, how dare you judge me? How dare you say that I'm broke? I do not see myself as broke. So, that's the funny thing is the women are trying to act like they could choose to identify as sexy or not by choice. It's like, no, you either are sexy to beauty is in the eye of the beholder, not in the person who has the beauty. So beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So whoever beholds your beauty is the one who determines that you have beauty, because they're the ones who can see that you're beautiful. You're not supposed to see yourself as beautiful. Someone else is supposed to see you as beautiful. You are supposed to see somebody else as beautiful. We humans are designed and exist for the purpose of being attracted to each other, being built for each other. That's why a man has a penis and a woman has a vagina, right? Those things come together and they work, right? Because they're made for each other. So the idea of like, no, I decide if I'm sexy or not. No. Everyone else decides that, right? The same irony in that is that the same people who be like, don't judge me, don't, think about me in a certain way, are the same people that thinks about those same people in a certain way. Oh, don't sexualize me. Don't look at me like I'm sexy. How dare you look at me like I'm sexy, right? You're not sexy. Like, whoa, don't you hear the hypocrisy in that? I find you attractive and you hate that because you don't find me attractive. Notice how that doesn't work? I've even been in a scenario where somebody tried to imply that I can't speak about what I find attractive, aka a woman that's not on the plus size, that I prefer a woman to be thinner, right? You pointed out that I'm big, trying to imply that I can't say that the person should be thinner. I'm trying to come up with a way to word it, but the idea is that because I'm big, because I'm carrying some extra weight, that I should like a woman with extra weight. They're implying that. Because I'm fat, I'm going to say it that way. Why am I sugarcoating it? Because I'm fat, I should like fat women. That's what the person literally was trying to tell me. Because I'm fat, I shouldn't have a problem with a woman being fat. I shouldn't, tell a woman that I prefer her to be thinner. Like, what? Because I'm fat, I can't have a preference? Because I'm fat, I'm supposed to like fat? That's not how that works. I'm not fat because I want to be. I'm fat because I am. Right? I'm fat. I'm not a fat person, right? I'm fat. I have fat. My body's fat. I'm not fat, right? My weight has my fatness. My fat content is not who I am as a person. I'm fat. I'm carrying fat, but I'm not fat, right? So to act like, oh, you're fat, so you must like fat women. No, it doesn't work that way. I'm not turned on by fat. I'm not turned on by my own fat. I'm not turned on by somebody else's fat. It doesn't work that way, right? So that's the thing. It's like, again, preferences are preferences. So there's women out there that love plus size guys. Most of my exes loved me because I was plus size for certain period of times. There was times where I was skinny. I had girlfriends who liked me because I was skinny, and I've had girlfriends who liked me because I was big, because they liked me I was big. The thing is, things vary. So people like whatever they like, and I have nothing against the women that like me when I was plus size. I'm just not a fan of being liked for being plus size, because I don't like being plus size. It's like, yes, I know you like me being a big guy, but I plan to not be big forever. So a lot of times when I was with some of my exes, I let them know that I do plan to lose the weight. I plan to get in shape. Of course, they were against it. They didn't want me to lose the weight. They actually felt offended that I wanted to lose weight. It was like, but that is my, how women like to say it now. My body, my choice, right? It's like, well, that's me. This is why one of the things I do ask women is, about, do they like plus size guy, right? Do they like guys who are physically fit or big? And if they like a guy who's big, then those are the women that I try to avoid interacting with. Even though I've had girlfriends in the past that like big guys, I prefer to avoid women of that nature because one, they're going to enable me being plus size. They're going to want me to be plus size. They're going to hate the idea of me not being plus size when I'm prefer to be in better shape. So it's like that's a contradiction. It's like I want to be a certain type of way, so I want women who want me to be that type of way. There's one that will encourage me to be that way, maintain that way. That's the thing. I want to be in shape, and I want women who want men who are in shape. I don't want to be with women who want me to be out of shape. That's what I put it, right? Out of shape. So that's just my viewpoint. So that's why it's just the idea of like, judgments and stuff. Like, no, I'm supposed to judge, right? I'm supposed to have preferences. I'm supposed to judge. I'm supposed to determine if I find a woman attractive or not, because that's to do with me, what I like versus what I don't like. I'm allowed to like and dislike things. Just like women have the right to like and dislike things, I do. And then you get into the whole, this is for a different conversation, but you get into the whole idea of, I don't expect every woman to find me attractive. I only need one woman to find me attractive, live happily ever after with, right? So I don't need every woman to find me attractive. So I don't need to meet every woman's requirements. So I'm okay with women not finding me attractive. I don't care, because you're not the ones. Right? If you don't find me attractive, then I'm not going to waste my time with you, right? I'm going to keep looking for the ones who do like me. The ones who like me are the ones who get my time and attention. And I go from there. Common sense, right? Because sometimes some women will feel like that they are universally desired. So they think every man wants them. But that's not the case. It's not always true. Obviously, guys have standards and preferences as well. So that's where the whole being skinny or fat thing came in, is that guys have preferences as well. So don't assume that just because you're a female that, you're my type. That's incorrect. I decide if I find you attractive or not, if you're my type or not. That decision is up to me, not you. So just because you're female doesn't mean you're automatically my type. Therefore, just because I'm not your type, because women will do that, right? I've met some women that would think that I found them attractive, but they told me they didn't find me attractive. Like, that's fine if you don't find me attractive, but it was clear, it was obvious that you thought I found you attractive. I actually don't. I was just being nice to you. Because I'm a nice guy, so I was being nice to you, talking to you. I gave you a compliment just because I was being nice, but don't mistake my kindness for, interest in you, because I'm not. I was just being nice. This is a polite thing to do. I got manners. My mom raised me well, so I was being polite, but don't think that you were my type. You weren't. So just because I'm not your type doesn't mean you are my type, right? That's the contradiction factor. Is like, okay, if I'm not your type, that's fine, because newsflash, you're not my type either. So perfect. Win-win scenario for both of us, right? We're not each other's type. That can happen. There has been some scenarios where I was a woman's type and she wasn't my type, so that's an unfortunate thing. But sometimes I would tell women that you can do better than me. I'm not really your type. And sometimes some women don't really truly know what their type is. Like, they think they know what the type is, but what's best for them. But usually they don't know what's best for them. Most women don't know what's best for them. They think they do, but they don't, because women tend to do things. I'm gonna say it. They tend to do things backwards. They say one thing, do another. They tend to contradict themselves a lot. So they will say that what matters to them the most is honesty and respect and blah 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 blah, all these nice things. It sounds nice, but in reality, money, good sex, materialistic things is what makes a woman happy, way more than, you know, a guy having a nice personality, you know, being honest. Most women prefer a man to lie to them. Even though women will say, oh, no, I want a man to be honest with me. No, you like it for us to lie to you. You want us to tell you you're pretty till the day you die, even though you will stop being pretty after a couple of years. You still want us to keep saying you're pretty, which is a lie, by the way. Once you stop being pretty. You're pretty when you're pretty, but once you stop being pretty, the compliment's supposed to stop. But you want me to lie to you, I'll keep lying to you. But that's the thing. You want me to lie to you. So you can't say you want honesty when you, one, would lie to me and have lied. And two, want me to lie to you. It's like, weird hypocrisy there. I've been in a scenario with that, with women where they would say, they want a man to be honest and stuff like that. So, of course, I'm very honest, right? I do my best to be as honest and transparent with women as much as possible. But a lot of times that tends to create a problem. And I have to keep pointing out that, well, you wanted me to be honest. So I'm being honest. The thing is, you just can't handle the truth. That's the thing. Women want honesty, right? Because it sounds good. But realistically, once they actually experience true honesty, then they realize, no, I don't want honesty. I want you to be honest once in a while. When I want you to be honest when it doesn't hurt me, but don't be honest when it would hurt me, right? Always lie to me. Always lie to me when the truth would hurt, but tell me the truth when it won't hurt, right? So that's the thing. Women always want that contradiction. They just want to be happy all the time, right? So if lying to them makes them happy, then you lie to them. If telling the truth makes them happy, then you tell them the truth. It's a weird thing that women tend to do. They always want things to be positive. They never want things to be negative. And it's like, that's not how the world works. There's good things and there's bad things in the world. There's positive and negatives, Oh well.